good to be chatting with some boys from the block.
That's right.
74.
74 Janefield represent. Hey folks, welcome to another co-founders chat here at Tribe 74. My name is Rob and I'm joined by my partner Andrew. Other way.
Hi there, guys.
There we go. And here at Tribe 74, we're your team for digital media, branding, photography, videography. Check us out at tribe74.com. Now, with all that ugly stuff out of the way, today we're bringing in a special guest, Paul Stewart of Look Marketing. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. So we wanted to talk today about kind of what you do. We want to talk about digital marketing in general, media and all that stuff, and just kind of the future, the past, the present, and give people information on what they can do with their businesses as small businesses and kind of make an impact on the world so that they can do what they want to do and run a business. So yeah, thanks for coming out and helping us with this. So first off, we're going to start off with, tell us what you do. What's your business?
All right. So thanks again for having me. And I guess a little background on my business. We do digital marketing for small and medium-sized businesses. It starts with websites, which is the center of everything in digital marketing, really. Websites or a landing page or somewhere where you're driving people to. And then we do social media marketing, both organic and paid advertising with that. We also do SEO, so search engine optimization, in terms of keeping that, making sure the websites are set up correctly for SEO in the first place, and then keeping them alive so they're showing up in search engines, closer to the top along the way as well. And then we also do email marketing. There's automated email marketing, and then there's like the newsletters that you send out kind of once a month or once every couple of weeks type of thing. And we also do search engine marketing. So those ads that you would see in Google when you search for shoes, and then the first ads come up at the top, or the images along the side. Or if you're on a different website, maybe you've been looking for to take a trip somewhere, and then you go on to TSN, and along the side there, you see that the trip that you were looking at is there. So we do that type of marketing.
So I guess this has been going on with all of us right now. Just wondering how you've been managing with COVID, and how have your clients been adapting?
Good question. So with me personally, with my business, dealing a lot with small businesses, there were a few businesses that had to slow things down or close up shop at the start of it, when everybody's kind of unsure or even afraid of what was going on. At that point, I had to take a step back and kind of analyze how things were going with my business as well, and pivot a little bit and look at my businesses on a marketing side of things for myself, and see how I would structure things to help small businesses that were struggling during that time, and as well maybe other businesses that were looking to pivot, or maybe people that were working for corporations and start working for themselves type of thing. So I would start looking at them to help them out too. So I started doing a lot of my own strategies that I was doing with other small businesses, and it worked quickly. And I was able to, up my client list throughout COVID-19, really in a supportive fashion, really to help these small businesses that were struggling.
Oh, that's excellent.
Well, yeah, one of the things I think everybody's had to struggle with that. Obviously, it's certainly unprecedented time, and I hate using the word unprecedented, but I mean, for businesses, I mean, it did actually land quite a big opportunity for a lot of companies to kind of step up and take the opportunity. You may not have been able to physically work with clients or bring in the cash that you needed to, but there were a lot of opportunities to kind of restructure, reformat, revisit your business, and kind of like a bit of downtime that you wouldn't be afforded if you're in regular business hours.
That's right. Yeah, there was just to kind of go on what we were saying there. It was a time to really hit that refresh button, analyze things, and to see where things go from there. So
one of the things that I noticed with small businesses or people who are starting businesses, especially like, sole proprietors who don't have a lot of experience and they look for help, sometimes they just reach out and grab, people in maybe our side of the business where they grab their friend and say, hey, can you throw together a logo for me? Or they go to, someone else, say, hey, I heard about this. Can you hook me up with your friend who did this for you? But what I find a lot of times is that then you end up with some subpar quality work and stuff like that. Why should a business let professionals do the dirty work as opposed to like, their nephew? How important is it to not cheap out on, your marketing strategies and so on and so forth?
That's a good question. I would say that, the first thing that comes to mind would be time. The time it takes to be able to do something, or even if I'm sure that a lot of people can figure out how to do something. I mean, these days with YouTube and all those online learning opportunities, but it takes a lot of time to first learn how to do it and then how to get good at it, right? I mean, all of us can restain a debt if we want to put the time and effort into it. But when it comes to business, you don't have the time, you don't have the expertise. And it takes that time to get knowledge with it and to get good at it. It's one thing to slap something together, and it's one thing for it to actually represent your brand and your business in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's really key. Like a lot of times people will just go with the easy route and cheap out, pay $100 to get something done as opposed to larger sums, because it's daunting. But at the same time, I mean, in the long run, when you see that sign or that logo or the photography, and you're looking at it, you're going, oh wow, that's terrible. That actually affects your business in the long run.
Yeah, it does. The image quality, any sort of aspect. If we're talking about image, if we're talking about video, if we're talking about a post online, if we're talking about making a website, whatever it is that has to do with your business. If it's a physical business card, you want to make sure that everything that you are doing represents you and what your business is.
So, Paul, let me ask you this. What are some of the pitfalls a new business faces when it comes to marketing?
Well, I would say that oftentimes it kind of stems from the question that we just answered. People will try to take on too much on their own. I mean, if someone has let's say a furniture business, and that's what they should be focused on, is how to sell and maintain and set their shop in the appropriate way. They shouldn't be taking time away and trying to do a million other things. Maybe they're trying to make their website on the side, or they're trying to just come up with a strategy for social posts. Like time management would be one pitfall, and then understanding who to go to help them, right? It's hard with so many options out there when you're searching through Google for different businesses to help you. There's so many options out there, and it's hard to know who the right or what the right business is to help you out. So I would say that's a tough thing. I would say there's so many, like for me, when I first started my business, there's a lot of little things that slow me down, so many little barriers that got in the way. Even if, when I first started my business, I didn't have a business email address. And then it's like, okay, how do I figure out who do I use to try and make sure that I got at lookmarketing.ca at the end of my email. This is going back a number of years, but little, just small things like that get in the way of you doing your everyday tasks. So it's about finding the right people to help you along the way.
In that regards, how do you grow your social media organically, especially if you're starting out? Where do you start, and just how do you move on and grow?
Well, there's a real big secret to this as far as how to grow your following on, and I'm gonna put it out here right now. Really, it's creating and doing it over and over again. In those first 10 posts that you put out, or that first month of posts that you put out, or 2 months or 3 months, and you're not getting the traction that you want to see, you can't stop. You just have to keep creating, keep trying. Everybody fails, especially in social media, and in terms of trying, what to post and trying different things. You the next day comes and you got to try something different, learn from it and move on. So create, learn from your mistakes, and then keep creating. The followers will come. There are little tips and tricks as far as showing up in people's searches and people's interests and stuff like that. So on Instagram, if you're using the appropriate hashtags, really the algorithms that everybody always talks about, and they're always changing, but they're always changing because they want people to use their tools as natural as possible. So originally, people are learning the tricks and this is how I can get more followers if I do these few little tips. But it's really about being more organic about what you do, more natural, what comes to your business and to yourself naturally. That's going to get you the followers and the followers that you want to have in the long run. I wouldn't be going out there and purchasing followers or using companies that use algorithms to find followers for you. It's really about hitting that ground and putting the work in. Like everything, you have to do that with social media.
So tell us about maybe kind of quickly, because I think a lot of people know or deal with this on a daily basis. But tell us a bit about email marketing and the viability of it these days, or if is it still a thing that happens?
Yes, absolutely. Because people know now that when they give you their email and they've clicked all the boxes to say that yes, you can communicate with me through email, they're expecting to get emails from you because they want to hear about what you have to say. And if they don't, then they click unsubscribe, and that's fine because you only want to be talking to people that want to listen to you anyway. So you're getting right into people's inboxes. You are, they want to listen to you. They, the engagement rate through email marketing is much higher than something through, struggling through organic posts and trying to get those followers. So the return on the investment with email marketing can be quicker and stronger. So I have found a lot of success through my own business and through the different small, medium-sized businesses that I've worked with and continue to work with. They've had good success with email marketing.
So if you've been watching this video and you're still listening to it right now and watching along, please hit the like button and make sure that you comment below. We'd love to interact with you. Now, why don't we move on a little bit, Paul? So when you're designing a website, what elements do you focus on? What are common mistakes businesses make with their websites?
There's some things that I wouldn't call something a mistake, but maybe it's just something that a lot of small businesses will do early on. Getting a website for your small business is something that is an investment to start off with if you want to have a good website. A lot of times what people will go on and they'll try out Wix or the free version with GoDaddy or all the different little pay-as-you-go free versions of websites that really are kind of limited in terms of what you can put on there. That you're limited to the structure and the themes that they have, and you put your things in there. So it is an investment to get a bit of a better website. Now, things that first off you have to consider, there's so many things. You have to have your domain name first. You have to have your website files live somewhere, which is called hosting. So an area where your website lives. So you have to have the domain name, the hosting, and then your website has to be built on top of that hosting. And a domain name is like the address that takes people to your website where it's living in the hosting area. So the hosting has to be a secure spot. It's best if it's not in an area where other websites are living. So a website can be hosted on an area with other websites, which slows things down and makes things less secure, because if somebody hacked into one website, they could go and get into the rest pretty easily. So kind of to make a long point short, it's about being secure. It's about being fast. and when you get to the actual website, it has to be easy to peruse, to get around. What different minds think differently when they're looking at a website. If it's on a computer or on a phone, it has to be easy to navigate no matter where you're looking at it or what kind of perspective you have when you're looking at something. You also, it needs to be branded to your brand perfectly. You have to use the right words. You have to have the right call to action. When I say the right words and the right wording, you want to do that with as few words as possible, because when people get on a website, they're looking at it visually. That's going to make that first impression for them and that lasting impression. The words that they're reading, don't want to take forever to read through everything on your website. Video is a huge help and support in people making decisions on websites. So if they go and they're interested in buying a particular service, say it's fencing, and you got a video about how well you can make a fence and how quickly you can turn it around for them, type of thing, and they see that and say, yes, that's exactly what I want. I've never worked with a fencing client. That's just something that just popped in my head, but maybe it's the nice weather outside. So those are all things that you need to keep in mind. You need to make sure that you've got your products and services highlighted up front, and you want to make sure that you're keeping it alive as well with so having the opportunity. One of the things that keeps a website alive, which helps bring it up that search engine for you, is having continuous blogs on there, or you can call them news posts, or just new things being put on your website that will help people find you.
That's awesome.
I think one of the sorry, Andrew.
No,
I think
go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the key points, one of the key takeaways there is keep it simple, because you're also dealing with like a global market now too, right? So now you have to consider like language barriers and stuff like that. So icons as opposed to big words and stuff like that. You notice a lot more modern new businesses have a tendency to be more visual.
That's right. So if you were, if you're wondering what your website should look like, if you just go and look at kind of some of the big brand names, if you go look at Apple, if you go look at Airbnb or whatever it is, check out their, like, people that are having success in the online world, check out their website, and then you can think that, look at the little aspects, like how big is their logo, how much wording do they have, how is it laid out, how clean is it. Obviously you're making things, your brand might not be a clean, crisp brand like Apple's is, so you have to consider those types of things. But definitely look at some of the big players, and you can see what works, because they've already figured it out. They put all the dollars into figuring all that out. So, Andrew, did you have a question?
No, actually, wasn't a question. It's more a statement. I was just going to say, you were talking about the fencing and the fencing companies. So if you are a fencing company and you're watching this, maybe you need to reach out to Look Marketing, have a chat with Paul.
That's right. Anytime.
And don't forget about us. We need we need your support too. So have a look out and come and call Tribe 74 as well. So yeah, Look Marketing, Tribe 74. It's basically, not to promo here or anything like that, but I think our two businesses, kind of work together in what a small business or new businesses need moving forward. So so look us both up.
They complement each other. I'm sure that you could find the other one of us if you find one of us.
That's right.
By asking.
That's right. Absolutely.
Let's talk about paid social advertising. It's one of the elements that Look focuses on. What are the benefits and cons of social advertising?
I could start with the cons just to get it out of the way. It's definitely a good thing. The con would be not doing it the right way, and then all of a sudden you're starting out and you're doing $50, $100 type of thing, and then that's gone, and you didn't get anything from it. I'm sure there's lots of businesses out there that have gone through that, and not getting the results you want. So if you are going to get into the paid advertising, you want to make sure that the other end of things is set up in order for you to get what you want out of it. If it's leads, if it's emails, if it's people, if it's just branding, you have to decide what that is beforehand and understand, what a win is for you. And then you can go out and build your ad with that in mind. So you build your ad, you want to make sure you're targeting the right people. You want to make sure that you're targeting the people with the same interests that might have to do with your business, taking part in activities that might make sense for your business in the area that you are targeting as well. So all these different things, and there's more, but all these different things. And then once you get the right person that would be interested in what you're advertising, it could be job title, all these different things. And then you're taking them somewhere and showing them something that they want to see, make sure it's simple, and make sure it has the right call to action in terms of them to reach out to you, or for you to be able to reach out to them again. Or maybe it's you're bringing them there and then you can do the remarketing stuff afterwards, where you're showing up on a different site that they go see later, type of thing. So there's a lot of different things that you have to figure out beforehand in order to get the right result at the end.
So I'll jump in here. You speak to call to action.
Mm-hmm.
I know the three of us, we know what you're talking about when you're saying that. But for somebody, your general business owner, what does call to action mean to them when you speak of it?
If I were to put it basically, the call to action would be something like, put it basically, give me your email, or buy now, or learn more, to go and find out something more. So the call to action is the button or the form or where you want to take that person.
We've been kind of dancing around the topic of social media as we've been going through all of these different questions, this discussion. What would you really say is the best avenue for your social media? Is that Facebook? Is that Instagram, Twitter, YouTube?
TikTok. Yeah, it's somewhere that if it's another place to be putting content, so I would suggest doing it. But really, the answer is it depends. I'm sorry that I don't have a specific answer for that. It depends on your business. It depends what kind of messages you're putting out there and who you're trying to target. It's really hard to pinpoint one. I would suggest, though, getting really good at one, and then once you've mastered that, move on to the next and getting really good at that. Because what you should be doing, and what we don't always do, because it's easy to put the same post on Instagram and then you can just put it on Facebook, and then you can copy a link and put it on Twitter, and maybe you can change the size of the video and put it on TikTok or Instagram stories or whatever it is, right? Master it, and then your approach should be a little bit different on each one. And you should decide kind of what the persona is that you're taking when you put it on each platform. So maybe on LinkedIn, you've got a business approach where you're talking about, the different business tactics you took to do this, or maybe you're talking about the team that you're building or whatever it is. And then you get on to YouTube, and you've got some longer form videos about what you do. And then you get on to Twitter, and maybe it's more of a light-hearted approach where you're being a bit snarky or sarcastic. So I didn't really answer the question, but I would say start with one, depending on what your approach is and what your business is, master it, and then move on to the other with taking different approaches on them. Because and here's why. I was just thinking about this the other day, and if you want somebody to follow you on all the different platforms, they don't want to be seeing the same thing and reading the same thing. They want to have a different feel about you from somewhere else. So it's about getting that, having people still see you and see your business on different platforms, but having a different feeling behind it.
I think too, it's important, like you said, you kind of started off saying that it's important to know your market and understanding like how the different markets work on each of the different platforms. Like for instance, Facebook could be more of an older market. TikTok could be the new generation. And so you have to make sure that you pay attention to those trends, I guess, as well, right? Like, I mean, the younger generation's moving away from Facebook and Twitter and they're moving to TikTok and YouTube. Well, everybody's moving to YouTube, but so on. But yeah, definitely know your market. Like, are you selling to kids? Are you selling to adults? Or are you selling to boomers? Are you selling to millennials? Understanding who is where, and how can you reach them the easiest.
That's a big part of it for sure.
So we've really kind of moved our way through the different forms of marketing that you offer. So once the marketing strategy is in place, what can a business expect next?
From a marketing strategy that I would
from Look Marketing.
From Look Marketing. Well, they can expect us to always be watching to see what's happening. The great thing about digital marketing versus some traditional marketing, and there's a place for traditional marketing, I'm not saying that it's not there, but what I love so much about digital marketing is that you can look at some results pretty quickly and make changes based on that and start using whether it's advertising dollars or even just your social media organic strategy, whatever it is. You can change, you can learn to see what's working, what's not, and focus on what is working more quickly, right? So you can expect that, at the very least every month that you're getting a report from us to see kind of what we've been doing and what, how many visits to your website, what pages they've been on, what's been most successful, where people have come from, and then we there's more, but we take all that information and move on and structure that next month based on those reports. You can always expect, with our marketing plans that you're getting that personal touch. That's why we love working with the small and get a little bit into medium-sized businesses, but mostly small businesses. You can expect that personal touch, and we understand we're going through the exact same things that they're going through, just with a different business. And so you can expect that understanding as far as what their needs are, and we're going to make their investment go the furthest. You can expect that we're going to lay out, what success is first before anything, and then move, work towards that goal before anything else. That's what you can expect. No, I would just say that overall, now is an important time to kind of be out there and be recognized. You want people to see your face through these types of moments. Decide what your business is and who you want to be approaching, and really go out there and put the work into it. You can see all these things that I've gone through our talk, that there's a lot of minute little pieces to it, and I barely even scratched the surface on them. But even just through our talk, we've mentioned a lot of different things that you have to do to be successful with this. So again, going back, it's about finding the right people to help you that are, that you can trust and that are going to follow up with you, and you're going to know where your investment's going. And then again, with Look Marketing and Tribe 74.
Perfect.
So I guess just a special thanks to you, Paul, from Look Marketing, for coming out and joining us online today and having a little chat, giving everybody a little bit of insight about, I guess, the new age of marketing. So, if you enjoyed this video, hit like. We'd love it if you comment. Join the tribe, hit subscribe.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot for coming out, Paul. Take care.